right, this week's lecture is on social development. Last week we did social ability, and today we're going to learn more about how we develop our norms, values, and beliefs. So it can be difficult to kind of talk about this because we all have different values, and each culture and each community has their own kind of value of what we might consider normal or not. So what's normal behavior, what's a normal response is going to be really subjective to who you are when you live, because think time 100 years ago, what was normal and how we dress. If they took a look at how we dress today and leggings and tank tops and crop tops, jewelry, our shoes, everything has really dramatically changed in the last 100 years. So over time, what's normal changes, and in your own particular community and culture, things change as well. If I had to give you a definition of what social norms would be, it would be a combination of our values, our beliefs, our behaviors, and our attitudes. So a social norm at any given time is going to be really, really different because we're all going to have different values, beliefs, and attitudes. Remember, is part of our macro system. Our behavior is how we kind of express that, and all of that together might be a social norm. Values. So values change in America right now. It's very common to help with mental health, social services, mental care, because we want to support people who have addiction problems. We want to support people with emotional problems or even financial problems as well. In other times, in other cultures, personal privacy would be like, no, you would never tell your personal feelings or your personal issues to a stranger, a therapist, a doctor, anything like that. In different cultures, even today, that would be considered really not okay as well. But it might be more acceptable for you to turn to a family member or to a religious person for help as well. Whereas here in the United States, we kind of prioritize therapists, counselors, doctors, and less religion and family as well. So that's an example of how values can kind of shift from culture to culture. Our values are also going to change as we're babies, or if we're older adults, or if we're in middle life as well. So what a child thinks is really important, their toys, their friends, their milk might be really different from me in my middle age versus my parents in older age as well. It also depends on our life experiences and things we've gone through. Somebody in the military who has experienced combat or war is going to have a different life experience and different values. Our cognitive development, some people have higher or lower cognitive development as well, and also our morals. We all have different moral stages as well. So our particular values, which is our attitudes, our beliefs, and our behavior, can also affect the friends that we decide to make, the types of employment we choose, and even how we pick mates or partners. So I wish that I could do this in class with you guys. I love doing this activity, but I'll just kind of show it to you. So I'm going to pretend that I've given each of you $500, and those $500 correspond to a dollar amount, or a percentage point. So you are going to spend $500 to make your perfect person, your perfect boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, anything like that. So these are the 10 characteristics on the right-hand side: intelligent, kind and understanding, emotionally stable, honest and trustworthy, physically attractive, good sense of humor, high social status, similar to you, good housekeeper, and sexual chemistry. So the more you spend on each characteristic, the more important it is to you. And this is a great example of your values, your beliefs, your attitudes, and what you think is important as well. So I think a sense of humor and a good housekeeper is really, really important. So I would want somebody who's more than average. I don't want just 50% or $50. I want 100%. I want this to be the funniest person ever. My husband's really funny. It gets him out of a lot of trouble. And then also I want somebody who's willing to help me around the house a lot and help with childcare. So good housekeeper, I want this to be like the Martha Stewart of my husband. So sense of humor and good housekeeper, I think that's really important. I think it's important to be kind and honest and intelligent. And then the other things that I don't think are that important. So 50% would be average, so I want more than average, but then I don't really care if they're similar to me or have a high social status as well. So I wish we could do this together, but we can't. But I wanted to just kind of give it to you as an example of how you choose to spend your money on these 10 characteristics is going to say a lot about who you are, what you value, and then it's also going to say something about what your culture values as well. So what's an attitude? It's typically how we react to a situation. So if something happens to us, like the coronavirus, do we react positively or negatively? Is it an opportunity to stay at home and reconnect with family, or is it an awful situation? And I'm got to say that I'm going between those two feelings about 7 times an hour. Sometimes I'm like, yes, I'm reading to my daughters on the couch, having a great time. And then 5 minutes later, we're all screaming at each other because we haven't, we've been in the house for a week and a half together. So I'm changing a lot, but for the most part, it's how you react to a situation. Is it more positive or is it more negative? So an attitude in our culture might be towards mental health treatment. It's positive for those seeking help. We want you to, or do we have a negative response to the use of therapy? So it's up to you and your culture as well. We also have development of racial understanding. And this is, as children are kind of developing, they're being able to categorize similarities and differences in races. So children from infancy can really start to kind of understand, and they can see the differences in skin tones, eye shape, eye color, hair texture as well. But children also develop their racial attitudes because of the people that they're with as well. So in phase 1, we have awareness of cultural differences. So this is about 3 years old that you know that people look different, but you're also being able to maybe start sorting people into different cultures as well, based on how they look, act, kind of dress, they have more visible characteristics. In phase 2, we have an orientation towards a specifically culture-related words and concepts, and this is about 4, and this is if your parents have taught you racist things about different cultures and different people looking different ways, or if they've been more accepting about it. And then last, our attitudes towards various culture groups, beginning in about age, really start to solidify. We kind of have some of our more lasting ideas, but once again, this is based on what your parents have kind of taught you at home. We also have a locus of control. And I'm just going to show you this picture because I think this is a better way to look at it. So we want people, and we want children in general, to have an internal locus of control. So you make things happen. And so I make things happen. I can do whatever I want if I put my mind to it, if I work hard enough. I determine my future. We don't want children to have an external locus of control, that things happen to you. A person with an external locus of control might think there's nothing I can do. Why does everything happen to me? Why should I bother? Here is a video to kind of show it to you a little bit better.
Hi everyone, welcome back. So in this video, we're going to talk about 3 terms: self-esteem, self-efficacy, and locus of control. So self-concept, as expanded upon in the previous video of this series, is derived from self-esteem and self-efficacy. So self-esteem is the regard or respect that a person has for oneself, and self-efficacy is the belief in one's capabilities, organize and execute courses of action required in certain situations. So in other words, self-efficacy is a person's belief in his or her ability to succeed in a particular situation. Consider a person who becomes extremely nervous before speaking in public. They may develop a weak sense of self-efficacy in this situation, but by learning how to minimize stress and elevate mood when facing difficult or challenging tasks, we can improve their sense of self-efficacy. Now, here is a little catch. It's important to remember that a person with a low self-esteem can have a high and vice versa. So this is actually
All right, so that is internal and external locus of control. So let me we would like students to have an internal locus of control. We would like children and adults as well to be able to see themselves as important, as in control of their life and their destiny as well. So our families, our peer, our media, our community, and our school all play a role in that development of our attitudes, our values, and beliefs, which centered with behavior can be our social norms. And our ecological system is also really, really important when developing your locus of control. We want to make sure that we have families that in their parenting styles support you and your temperament and helping you to develop hard work, to develop the instincts and behaviors necessary for you to have that locus of control. We also want your friends to be able to support that as well, and you would see that modeled. So friends who study hard, friends who go to the library a lot, student friends who continue to excel in school. That type of modeling would help you and propel you to be a better student. We want schools that see you as a scholar, that see you as a smart, competent person and expect good work out of you. We would also want it in the media as well. So valuing education, valuing good characteristics necessary for you to have that locus of control. All right, that is it for today. I will see you guys online. Thanks so much.